and also Witcher 3 is the best game ever, and you guys suck for not playing it. Anyways, though, here.
Best game ever?
So E3
Have you played Celeste?
I mean, it's good, but it's not 1,500 people worked on that game good. You see what I'm saying?
Have you played Cory in the House for DS? Just saying.
Forget about it. Welcome back to another episode of Multiplayer. I'm telling you, okay, I'm your host, it's Guillermo Dorado, and I'm with you there are my these two fucking bagoons, you know, fucking. We got Zach McGannis.
Oh, forget about
And we
it.
got fucking Javier
Where the
Ortiz.
gabagoo?
Yeah, you fucking bunch of Goombas on the couch over here. We don't talk
Oh, where's my boy Mario? We gotta take out the Goombas.
Guys, welcome to this fucking show. If you are listening to this on a podcast, if you're watching it on our YouTube channel, well, the jig is up. We have both of those things there. Also,
You got pitched.
Forget about it.
now you can watch this on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/multiplayer, and you can also find us on Google Play and iTunes. Also, iTunes also iTunes.
That's it.
It's really up to you which one you want to really find it on. But you can find all these things in one place. It's a lot easier on our Patreon page. That's right, guys. You can watch the videos there without having to go through the middleman of YouTube or iTunes. You can also listen to Google Play and all that good stuff and forget about it, you know? And also, if you want to look around, you can see a little bit of incentive. You'd be like, hey, I want to give these fucking douchebags a couple dollars and we can get an extra 2 videos a month called the bonus round. Wow, I'm going to be tired by the time the show comes on. I'm like already like exhausted.
It's called Patreon. It's like Patreon Castiglione.
Yeah, exactly, gabagool. All right, guys.
His name is Patreon. He's a good guy.
He's a good guy over there.
That's all we're talking about today is just that guy.
He's a
Nothing
good
else.
guy.
All right, guys. So we have a couple things I want to get through. One of them is just a little tidbit that I think is really interesting. I'm really excited for.
You and this damn...
These tidbits, yeah. No, dude, come on.
What is it?
CD Projekt Red has been
course it
confirmed
is.
for
There it
E3 2018. Check it out, motherfuckers. Here's the deal. We have, we talked about it just recently, a couple times.
Every week.
Not as much as I would have liked to, because there's a lot to talk about, and I think it's going to be really good. And also, Witcher 3 is the best game ever, and you guys suck for not playing it. Anyways, though, here.
Best game ever?
So E3
Have you
is...
played Celeste?
I mean, it's good, but it's not 1,500 people worked on that game good. You see what I'm
Have you
saying?
played Cory in the House for DS? Just saying.
Forget about it.
Forget
Cory's
about
a
it.
good guy, man.
Yo,
He's in the White House.
when you get in the house in that game, that game gets done.
That's
bring
so weird
down the
because the
house.
sequel was also announced for E3 2018 release. That's amazing.
Forget about it.
Cory in the House 2, it's a bigger house.
Cory outside.
so E3 is this year at June 12th through the 14th. They've already had the whole list of all the participating developers and game makers and
Companies.
Babadaboo. They're going to be there.
Babadaboo.
They're all going to be there. That's already been announced, and CD Projekt Red is on that list. And I think that that's fucking exciting because, like I said, like we've said on the show previously, we haven't really heard much from them in terms of Cyberpunk 2077.
Yep.
Not since they announced it back, or they gave us the teaser trailer back in January 2013. We do know that they have a release window between 2017 to 2021. And I mean, I think that
Nope.
shut up, dude! Don't step on my dreams. I think that we're gonna get some really some good news, a better look, more thorough and in-depth look of what the game is gonna be, or how close it is, or how soon we're gonna get it. I don't know if there's gonna be a release date. That might be a bit much.
There won't be.
I would love there to be one. I think that if there was a release date dropped for the game, that they would win at E3. I think that like honestly, if you could name me one other game or a potential release that maybe has not been like rumored or announced that could like overshadow something as big as CD Projekt Red's next huge open world sandbox game set in a cyberpunk motherfucking era, you tell me that now. I challenge you. Go.
The Sopranos video game.
Yeah.
Cory in the House too. No, I'm being serious though. Like, what do you think? Is there a game that could overshadow a potential announcement saying like, hey, next year Cyberpunk 2077, here's the trailer? Because that would make fucking waves.
Yeah.
I'm sure at E3 we're gonna see. Well, I don't know.
No.
Well,
It doesn't have to be realistic. Well, it has to be in the realm of reality. It can't be like Banjo 3, like the one we've been waiting for, because that would fucking kill. But I'm talking about like in the realm of reality. it doesn't have to have been announced. Like, it could be like a new Zelda game, or it could be the new Smash Brothers game. Like, those things make sense. But what do you think?
The only thing I could think of that could be like potentially like, oh my god, this is going to be incredible when it comes out is
if the Eagles won
it would
the
be
second
a
Super Bowl.
Well, yeah,
the
at
same year.
E3, it would be a dual announcement from Nintendo
great.
about their online infrastructure and it being like amazing and everyone gets what they're expecting from their online infrastructure in tandem with a new Smash Brothers release. I think both of those things coinciding together would steal the show, or at least potentially rob the show of anything else.
You think so?
Because that's huge.
Well, but okay, looking back at kind of like at the past, that's what you usually look back towards. When Smash
I look back at the future.
Back to the Future
is a great movie. No, when Smash Brothers Wii U was released, was that like the biggest news of that E3? Like, did that pretty much overshadow everything? I know it was a huge deal, but I don't know if it was like the biggest.
Well, the difference
back in
is that
2014.
people have Switches. Nobody had a Wii U.
That's true.
That's the biggest. No, I mean seriously.
Yes,
That's
okay, fair
the
enough.
biggest
That's very
difference. I
good.
mean, everybody has a Switch.
It was still big. I mean, but people bought a Wii U for
No,
that
no,
game, though.
I understand
I
that.
did.
But the
Yeah.
thing is, like, everybody has a Switch.
Sure.
You know, not everybody had a Wii U. And when you announce your new online infrastructure, which is, again, hopefully it's what everyone's hoping it will be, you know, you bring the, it's hard to say, but like one of the top best competitive games online to an awesome system that everybody has with your new online infrastructure. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah.
Also,
Well,
I
do you
think,
think
like,
the same thing? Though you think Smash Brothers? Would
I
be
mean,
the one?
at least for me, that would overshadow the hell out of it because it's like I'm just a huge Smash Brothers fan.
But that
but it's
doesn't
also,
count because
like,
you guys haven't played Witcher 3. You
I'm
don't
thinking,
understand the
like,
severity of the situation.
In the realm of like the normal person that's not like a hardcore Nintendo fan like myself, I think just if 2K comes out with like a huge gameplay trailer of
2K19.
of 2K19,
Getting dunked
the
on.
Soprano edition.
Forget about it.
Hey, he's on fire. It's really a guy on fire. Like, there's killing players.
He's swimming with the fishes now.
But if 2K comes out and they show just a whole heap of Red Dead 2
Oh.
and just really show off that world, I mean, it's like that game's coming out in a couple months after that. So it's
Yeah, that's
that'd
true.
be kind of, I don't know, that'd be kind of a waste, wouldn't it? Because like since it is coming out so soon, like months later.
yeah,
mean,
but that's when you want like it's a couple months away. You show
okay,
a
never
big
mind. Yeah, because Zelda did the same thing.
But I mean,
Yeah.
also like at last year's E3, like the Wolfenstein 2 setup was amazing.
Yeah.
It was awesome, and that game came out a few months
Yeah.
after. And I mean, a lot of games there came out a few months after, you know, the big fall releases.
I don't know, guys. I think Smash Brothers would be a big deal. I don't know if it would overshadow something like.
I mean, you asked for my
Cyberpunk.
opinion. I gave it.
Okay, fair
What do you
enough.
want?
Fair enough. I don't mean to shit on it, but I'm shitting on it. No, I'm just kidding. no. I just think like, I don't know, man. I think if they really do come out with some like, you know, substantial
some gabagoo.
some gabagoo
gabagoo.
on Cyberpunk 2077, I think that it could be like how Zelda was last year.
Oh, no doubt. But I mean, how long has the game been in development? Since 13, I think you said? 2013?
I mean, yeah, it was
So-
probably a little bit prior to that. That was when they released the teaser. And you know, we haven't heard anything from them until last month when they broke their like 4-year hiatus on Twitter with just like the tweet beep, which we talked about.
Yeah.
Which is like the dopest fucking move. It's such an OG ass move. Like, yeah, we can tell you about things, it's just beep, and everyone was like, fuck! You know?
What's it mean?
Yeah, exactly. So, I don't know. I'm super excited that they are confirmed now, and that we're, you know, that kind of, it's still speculation, but now it's a much more tangible speculation that they are going to be maybe potentially talking about some shit about Cyberpunk. Because, guys, I know you doubt me.
Ain't coming out in 3
I
years.
know you doubt it, but it's
But-
going to be dope.
I'm gonna make a prediction right now. It'll still be out before Kingdom Hearts 3.
Well, I think we'll
We're going
be.
to get to that, actually.
We're going to pass away into the afterlife before Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out.
Like,
When
Cyberpunk
you pass away, you
Cyberpunk's
might
gonna
hear
happen in
me
real
say,
life before Kingdom Hearts
yeah.
3 comes out.
Yeah, we're going to be in a dystopian future when gaming companies don't exist. That's when Kingdom Hearts 3 will come out.
Oh, we're going to be talking about dystopian futures anyways here in a minute.
There's
There's
gonna
a
be
lot
like
of
some
things
crazy
going on.
Mad Max stuff going on while people try and
We talked
just
about this last week.
Yeah, we're talking about Mad Max 2. That's so crazy. You guys are hitting all the bullet points here.
like Cory will be in the house again before Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out.
Jesus Christ. Well, another thing that has been announced, or it's rumored, but it's pretty much like confirmed at this point by now. But Metroid Prime 4
Oof.
has been handed off from Nintendo to Bandai Namco Singapore. Now, Eurogamer
No,
has...
proper now, it seems like.
Huh?
Bandai Namco proper in Japan, not the Singapore branch.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it looks like the guys in Japan.
We've never had breaking news on the show, but there you go.
I just broke it, baby.
You just broke the fuck
No,
out of that
I mean,
news.
that's from like 2 days ago.
Fuck, shut up. Dude, shut up. No, it's not. I'm going to look that shit
Look it up. Look it up right now.
Yeah.
Quick, tell us a story about Cory in the House. And
Yo, if Cory in the House got ported to Switch, can I just say that'd be a day one
just
purchase?
type in Bandai Namco.
No.
I
It's being developed by Bandai Namco Singapore, you dumb fuck.
Look at
It says 2 days ago, just like
just
this.
Google
look at,
Cory in the House.
look at like this next one.
What do you mean, look at this?
Oh my god.
Bandai Namco, oh my god.
It doesn't matter.
Come
None of
on,
it matters.
come on.
Life is pointless.
It says Bandai Namco Singapore, Zach, you're wrong. Like, even that website says that.
Oh wow, I called it.
Yeah, Eurogame, yeah, Smash Bros. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Japan.
Whatever.
Japan.
Okay, it's Singapore. So here's the deal. Eurogamer came out and they said, quote, specifically, the highly anticipated Nintendo Switch exclusive is being developed by Bandai Namco Studios Singapore, which we understand is the lead studio on the game in collaboration with Nintendo, Eurogamer said. Now,
That's Eurogamer.
I'm not the authority
they?
here, but
Filthy Europeans. This is probably
We're gonna
Nathan
trust
having
them.
it is just Nathan. So this is pretty big news because... number one, Bandai Namco Studios in general. They develop and publish a lot of really great games.
They do.
In general. The Singapore branch specifically they did Smash Brothers Wii U. They did Pokken Tournament.
Ooh.
We were talking about before the show started, and I'm not entirely sure if it was the Singapore branch, but I know Bandai Namco Studios was involved, whether it was the development or publishing of like all the DBZ not DBZ, but Dragon Ball, like Budokai Tenkaichi 35mm.
Yeah,
like,
Super
block
Saiyan
in your
God, Super
face.
Saiyan.
Yeah,
all
there's
that,
just
yeah.
a
Well,
way
so
too
here's
much.
the thing. So you have Bandai Namco, and then you have Bandai Namco Studios. Studios is their development branch.
Oh, okay.
Bandai
That
Namco
makes
is
sense.
like their
publishers.
publishing branch.
Yeah.
And then there's a Bandai Namco Entertainment who handles like
They do
the marketing side of things. I think they handle like their TV
There's a
and
Bandai Namco Konam bands.
Yeah.
They do
And they
Nino
do
Kuni as
music.
well, right?
Yeah, so they publish
yeah.
Ni no Kuni, they publish Project Cars, they publish
Cars 3.
House 3. Yeah.
Get another house.
Get me out of this fucking house.
The Last House.
And then they
left Cory and then it's a horror game. They're really switching up the formula.
Cory in the haunted house.
On the house on
Haunted
Haunted Hill.
Mansion.
Yeah. Okay. Back to fucking Bandai Namco. Yeah. So they have a pretty good track record, but like it's not really a track record that would make me think that Metroid Prime 4 would obviously be one that they would tackle, and I would feel like super confident. They do understand a lot of like game mechanics. Obviously, they fucking made Smash Brothers. They revitalized the fucking franchise in massive ways. I think especially from Brawl. They were like, you know what sucks? Slipping out. We're like,
Yeah, how
great.
about that?
You know, like
Yeah, outside of what those hardcore Melee fans will say that just will never let go of that game, I think Smash Wii U is the best
It's
version.
fantastic.
Hands
Yeah,
down.
Smash 4 is
I
great.
agree.
Now, and that's the thing. So they make great games. They understand. I think that they have a very good understanding of Nintendo characters in general and what Nintendo wants. And
Yeah,
obviously Nintendo.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, and obviously Nintendo knows what they're doing. You know, like this is a game that's hugely anticipated by a lot of fans here on the West. Oh, more on the West than in the East, right?
Yes,
Metroid Prime
for
has
sure.
a better fan base here, so they understand like not the severity, but the gravity of like a new game in the series. So I think I can confidently say that if they pick Bandai Namco, it's probably for a good reason, you know?
Yeah.
To develop it. The only thing though is that they really don't have like a track record of these kind of exploration games, these first person.
I was gonna ask, have they ever done a first person game?
No, and I even like because I couldn't think of one. I looked one up. I was looking it up earlier. I was like, they don't have any outside of I think is it Armored Core? No, Mechasalt.
Oh,
It might be Mechasalt. It's one of the. I think it's Mechasalt.
Gundam Wing.
Oh, Mechasalt.
Well, they do Gundam Wing
I
games
know.
as well.
That's why I said it.
But there's
Oh,
probably
interesting.
some sort of first-person Mech Assault Gundam Wing game
Yeah.
in there that I'm not thinking of because I don't play those games.
Yeah.
Because
That wasn't too bad. Played that shit for Xbox back in the day. It's pretty
For
good.
which one?
Mexalt?
Yeah, I mean,
And Robotech, which I don't think
there's a
is
lot of
related,
like cool
but-
mech games back in
Yeah.
like the original Xbox. Like there's some Armor Core and all that fun
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah.
But
So,
anyways,
anyways.
anyways.
So,
Oh.
hey, no, yeah. So they don't really have much experience in like first person or
No.
exploration games. What they do have in the studios in house is heart.
That they do.
Is all of our good intentions. You know,
They've got the Dragon Balls.
Right.
So,
They do have in-house former LucasArts Singapore staff that worked on the canceled Star Wars 1313 game. Now that game was basically, it was trying to like get away from the systematic and formulaic Star Wars kind of franchisey bullshit and do a more like, okay, these are brand new characters, this is a brand new area, they invented this whole underground prison on Coruscant. That might be for the books, I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah.
Whether they made it up or they took it from the books. Either way, it's not something that's like, you know, universally known in the Star Wars fandom. And it was basically like a bounty hunter mission where they get like trying to bring this prisoner down, shit goes AWOL, now they're stuck in this like underground. It's like Chronicles of Riddick, except motherfucking Star Wars. I'm like, that's
It's Uncharted Star Wars.
Oh yeah, and then they had like a lot of action set pieces, a lot of like that kind of like cover shooter based, you know, Uncharted kind of combat. That got canceled. I think
So
that
sad.
yeah, it looked really good. They had a demo. It was a 6-minute demo for like one E3 back in 2013. It was awesome. Got canceled though, and now I think that that's what they're trying to work on in EA. They're talking about like their new Star Wars game that is, you know, in development. They're trying to go like an Uncharted kind of way.
Yeah.
So at least you can see that it might work.
You got the blueprint.
Right. But that aside, that Star Wars thing aside, they do have staff that worked on that game, and now they're working on Metroid Prime 4. So that might lend itself, I think, into the Metroid Prime series. But still, it's not like enough to be like, yes, they could definitely handle an open world first person
I mean, it's like
shooter.
the second announcement we hear where it's like that developers. It's like because
Yeah.
the Forza team is going to handle Fable.
Which
Yeah.
So I mean, you know, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing with like with a company like that where they don't necessarily have the experience with a game like that, you know, I've been thinking a lot about it, and it's like it seems kind of weird because they haven't developed a game like that, but shut your phone up
Oh my
right now.
God,
You
come
hear
on.
me?
Jesus.
I'm trying to talk over here,
Jesus.
and you got people texting you.
This guy,
So
this
cute.
guy over here, am I right?
this is a fucking the
I'll be
gabagoo.
sleeping with the fishes soon. Just a big old nap with them.
Well, whatever.
Anyways,
Forget about it.
but like Bandai Namco in the last, I would say 5-ish years, I think has had a really good track record with like really good games, whether they're on the publishing side or the developing side. From, you know, obviously the last Smash Brothers game
Yeah, that's
was really good. I think the like games like Project Cars got crazy good reviews. The new DBZ game obviously is
awesome.
pretty dope. There's it seems like everybody really likes the new Tekken game that's out.
Pokken
Tournament.
Pokken.
Ni no Kuni
So it's
You know
like
what?
Ni no Kuni. So I think they have a good track record of knowing a good game and putting the time in and the resources into making something good,
Sure.
whether on the development or the publishing side. So I think they're probably going to build a team from the ground up specifically for this game, and obviously work really closely with Nintendo, who, you know, they're really good at overseeing projects that they give to other people, like
Right.
you know, stuff like
Well,
Kingdom
fucking
Battle
better, yeah.
was like
Yeah,
a
with
great
Ubisoft.
example where it's just like Ubisoft developed that game, you know, top
So
to
it
bottom,
should have, by
but
all rights, been fucking terrible. Let's go ahead and say that right now. It should have been, but because
Yeah.
Nintendo was like, no, stop it. Don't
Yeah.
do that. Okay.
It's like,
and they
you know,
made a good game.
yeah, it's like Miyamoto oversaw like this is the things that Mario can and can't do.
Right.
And you know, gave them the characters, but also gave them like the restrictions and like things to just help them like guide it in the right direction. And I'm sure Nintendo would do that with the Metroid
You know,
series
and
as
from
well.
what you were saying about their track record with these other games, these other franchises, one thing that I think is pretty thematic through all that is that they do when they take a hold of the franchise, they are very careful with it. They know they really make it part of their effort and team strategy to learn everything they can about that franchise so that they don't you know, they can add new things, sure, but it makes sense in that universe. So like when they take like Smash Brothers, that is a pretty fucking, you know, if it's a company that's never worked on a Smash Brothers game before and they're like, hey, we're 3 in and it's like one of the biggest titles for Nintendo, good luck. You know, like now they gotta go, fuck, we gotta make sure we know exactly what we're doing.
But see, they have had a lot of fighting.
They can make a fighter.
Sure, but like, but this, you know, Smash Brothers kind of transcends these other fighters. There's a very, it's
it's a non-traditional fighter.
Right, but I mean, like even you said Ni no Kuni, you said the Dragon Ball Z franchise, you said Pokemon Tekken. What they did and what it seems prevalent or relevant to me, is that they really took their time to make sure that they understood the source material and build upon it, as opposed to trying to change it drastically or take it in new directions that they think is good, as opposed to what they think is good for the series. Right. So, in that respect, I think that they will do a great job with Metroid Prime 4, even if they don't have the first-person, you know, sci-fi exploration shooter, like, you know, under the belt. Yeah. That because that they are really careful with the source material and the fact that they do understand, you know, game level design and traditional game mechanics, I think that it's gonna be pretty good. I'm excited to see what.
I think they understand what a good game is, and you know, whether, like I said, whether they're in the publishing or the developing side, they put in the resources they need to help get a project where it needs to be. Right. And they have a great relationship with Nintendo. You know, they've been working pretty closely the last few years here, which is obviously, I mean, that's a big plus. Yeah. I'd say my one other thing with that you know, they might not have the experience in that first-person shooter adventure kind of field, but at the same time, it's one of those things. Metroid is such a different type of game than. Or Metroid Prime, anyways, is such a different type of game than any other FPS that's out there. So somebody coming at a perspective that's, you know, like let's say you gave that to, let's just say Activision for, you know, just.
Let's not. I mean, I get where you're going with this.
It's you know, you give it to like Treyarch or something. It's like, you know, they're very Western. They have a very specific direction they would go with something like this versus like a Japanese company that, you know, has to think outside of the box with a game. It's going to have a very different feel than a Western developed game that's very typical for FPSs now. You know, it's just like the last
true formula.
It's just like the last Zelda game where it's just like that, you know, there's so many, like every, you know, you think about an open world third person shooter, every game should just be like The Witcher now. But it's like Zelda's drastically different in so many ways, in a good way too. It's like I've never played a game like the last Zelda game, and I feel like it could be like that with Metroid Prime.
Well, then this raises the question, because before we started the show, I know that you want to talk about like potential, like who else do we think, like if anybody could develop Metroid Prime 4, who do we think would do it better? And you mentioned
technical hiccups. Technical hiccups.
It's become a postmark of the show. Anyway, so
I blame the cat.
Yeah, it's the cat just cutting wires. So we were talking about how you were saying that Bandai Namco developing this game would make more sense than like a Western developer doing that. But before we started the show, you had mentioned that you would want to see
Arcane. Yeah.
Asylum.
I want to say
Arkham Asylum.
Yeah,
that's a good game.
You're saying that you want to see them develop Metroid Prime 4, like that would be kind of like a pipe dream of yours, but that's a little bit contradictory because they're a Western developer.
Yeah, but you know, I feel like Arcane Studios, they're making games that are a little different than like, you know, it's not a Call of Duty, it's not a Battlefield kind of thing. I mean, it's such a different type of FPS game that I don't think too many people are doing. So it's like if I were to see like a Western developed Metroid game again, Metroid Prime game, it's like I think Arcane could take it in a really interesting direction. Right. You know, it's like that's a game where it's like you have a hub world. And then you can just jump into these like different huge sandboxes where you can explore every nook and cranny. Sure. And like the different powers and stuff you have will get you in like into different places to explore, and you can just read all this lore. And it's like seems like it. And obviously it's like with Arcane comes Bethesda, so that relationship's getting strong between like Bethesda and Nintendo. So I thought that would be like a really interesting idea.
It's kind of funny. I mean, so the first thing is, when you said that at the beginning, like before we started the show, you said, "Oh, I think Arkham Asylum is what their name is now."
Arcane Studios.
If they developed it, I was like, yeah, that would actually kind of I could see that because the way they designed their levels in Dishonored, even though I'm not a fan of the franchise, it was very interesting. You could like come at it from multiple different directions, and like you could be a fish, you could be a
Fish.
gabagool. Yeah, that was one of the things. You could like possess a fish and go in the sewers and be like, "Ah!"
And then people be sleeping with you.
And you're like, what is going on? My job's done here. No, and so like I thought that was pretty interesting, like that they would be a good one, but then you're like talking about, they have so much lore. I think that what constitutes a good game for you is that there's shit to read in it.
I love
about
sitting there and just reading stuff.
Right.
I really do
you just
like
pick up a book. Is that like you're in the
Well,
wrong?
no, because it's like that's one of my favorite things about video games. It's like think about a movie or a show or something where it's like you love that world, but you're just kind of stuck wherever you are. It's like I want to go anywhere and just like I just want to break into that dude's house. I want to go into his drawers and I want to just start reading that guy's diary.
Taking his undergarments.
Fuck privacy. I want to see what this guy's about.
It's just like a fully fleshed out world like that. It's always so fascinating to me.
I was thinking for a developer that'd be cool to make this would be, but like also on the Bethesda side. No, also on the Bethesda side with ID. Because like they would be awesome like to take on Metroid where you're just mowing down just tons of aliens like like Doom or Wolfenstein, because I mean she's super badass and she's got different powers with her cannons. She can roll around laying bombs and shit. That would be amazing just to run around as Samus just blowing shit up.
Could you imagine you boot up like Metroid Prime 4 and the first like thing you do in the game is you're like just heavy ass bass and like metal rips off an alien's head.
That'd be amazing.
And Rita's like, fuck, she doesn't do that all the time.
But the thing is, like, you look at Metroid kind of invented the idea of farming. And so, like, all those games, you're just...
I think farmers invented the idea of farming.
Shut up. You're killing enemies and you're gathering more resources, which is what the old Metroids basically taught you to do, and which is all about Doom and Wolfenstein. You just mow down people and collect all their shit so you never run out of, like, ammo and armor. So, I mean, it just fits perfectly with Metroid.
If you want farming, maybe we should go with the Harvest Moon guys for the next Metroid.
I was thinking a farming simulator. Those are the guys that should make a Metroid game.
Just like riding around on a tractor.
Just Samus on a tractor and just farming.
Bounty Hunter Simulator 14.
Oh, a Metroid. It's dumb. All right, so another thing. So, yeah, I think that Bandai Namco Singapore might do well with this. We'll see what happens. We'll keep going.
They make good games.
They do. One of the things that they fucking kind of reinvented was like Mario Kart Arcade. They were the ones that like developed that, and it was fucking awesome. Like Mario Kart Arcade is great.
If I'm not mistaken, they do all the arcade games for them. It's like obviously they did the Pokken Tournament one. They did the Mario Kart one. I think they did the Luigi's Mansion one. I think.
No,
Luigi.
Yeah.
That's the boy.
Hey, it's Luigi.
With the vacuum and shit.
You got a vacuum.
They I think you're right. They did do all of those. What they didn't do is the newly announced Tomb Raider arcade game.
Oh, good segue.
Was it obvious out?
Back to Metroid.
Metroid's better.
So, as part of the marketing campaign for the new Tomb Raider movie that's coming out.
Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider. Come to terms.
Come get you, Tomb Raider.
No, it's just a professor going through like the syllabus. Oh my god, it's a term that's
Rating through the terms.
It's like
Shut up,
rating through midterms.
You got like number munchers and all those games.
Yeah, Mavis Bacon's doing Tomb Raider this
Bacon.
Mavis Bacon. Bacon. Guys, Jesus. Tomb Raider's the fucking movie's coming out in March. And so what they're doing is they're releasing with this like special promotion with Dave & Buster's exclusively with this like arcade Tomb Raider based game.
Yeah.
Which is and you just grade term papers. It's amazing.
Everybody gets a dictionary and you're just like
So what you're saying is once you lose you have to come to terms.
Oh my god.
I'll see myself
I feel
out.
like I have a terminal case of illness right now. Oh, it's a joke. I hate my mouth sometimes. Anyway, so it's a four-player co-op shooter game. You basically get a gun and you're shooting people.
Oh, you know what?
Without any remorse.
It's like the other arcade game, a Terminator.
God damn it. Yep.
This is where this is going.
Apparently, though, this has the same. It has the same motherfucking train of thought's been derailed.
Gameplay?
Yeah, this
No, yeah, it has the same-
this show's just kind of gone off track.
It's
so
okay.
it's just
gone
like
off the tracks. We need to get back on that tractor
yeah,
from the farm
it's like this is just like
Metroid Prime.
It's like turmoil now.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's good though, man.
That's pretty good. Do you have a kid? Because that was a great dad joke. Like, that was
Alright.
amazing.
All right, time to terminate that. Let's
Oh,
here's the Terminator.
Come on,
The
man.
child?
Exterminate this conversation. Let's get back to it.
Jesus. So essentially, this Terminator arcade game.
It's not
has
Terminator, dude. It's Tomb Raider.
Damn it! This Tomb Raider game has the same tech as the fucking four-person co-op shooting game Rabbids Hollywood.
Never heard of it.
It doesn't matter. That's my point. So like,
Rabbids Hollywood.
that's what it's called. And you grab a
like- wait, like
plunger
the
gun.
rabbits?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And you shoot rabbids on these different film sets. It's really stupid. The point is,
And now there's a Tomb Raider Rabbids game.
no, but it's like the same tech
the
as that. So
crossover
it's
I've
like
been waiting
four.
for.
It's four guns, and you're going through these like set pieces and shooting people.
Can
Like
you said Time Crisis? Like, why does it have to be the rabbits?
No,
game?
because it's been reported that it's like
Tomb
damn near the
Crisis?
same. God, it's been like the same tech. Like they
Okay.
like that's like the closest game to it. That's out
Gotcha.
right now.
Tomb Raider
Even the
Rabbids
setup looks
Kingdom
really
Battle.
similar. The point is, there's a 30-second spot for this fucking thing. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. Dave and Buster's
Oh yeah,
did like
that
a
commercial showed no gameplay.
exactly. There's no gameplay for it. And it
People
looks,
having aneurysms in front of a screen.
there's actors like play a video game. They're like okay, you know, and you're like
I've never
"This is how
seen
you
a
play
video
a
game in my life.
Close-up shots of food at Dave and Buster's.
Guys, the reason I want to talk about this, for fuck's sake, is because that
bring it- just
this is
talk
the
about
first
it.
time that we've seen like a promotion displayed like this, like where there's an arcade game coming out in tandem with a movie. Now, what I
Yeah.
think is interesting is that arcades have pretty much died out almost completely here in
Yeah.
the West. They're still very prevalent in Japan right now, but it's not a thing that people do here on the reg. So, is this like foreshadowing a potential like renaissance of arcades like coming back to the West? I mean, like
Nope.
the video game industry has become so influential that it might. No, okay, well
Nope.
then we're done.
Nope.
That was it. See how
Nah.
easy that was? We just get through it in 3
It's-
minutes.
Exterminated.
God.
No, I don't think
can't.
so at all.
You don't think
It's just that's why it only happens with like a couple movies here and there. It's like, and it's just with like Dave and Buster's. It's like it's not
That's
like
true.
they're gonna release a million of these things and everybody's gonna eat it up. It's just some like BS game that is going to Dave and Buster's for people that don't play video games. It's like, there's the some stupid Tomb Raider shooty game, and then I'm sure there was like a Fast
true.
and Furious one. I'm sure there was one for like Jurassic Park. Like,
Oh, there's still
I
Jurassic
don't know.
Park games.
yeah,
they
but
got
it's
this one
like
time.
it's they're just gonna take some big dumb movies and put stuff in.
Make big dumb games out of them.
Yeah, for
pretty
for
much.
people that don't play games. It's just
All right.
that's just how it is.
It is funny too, like the promotional art, like on the side of like the actual like arcade setup is not even like from the movie. It's like Square Enix's like box art from the games. So
That's kind of weird. Huh?
Yeah, right.
It's weird marketing and advertising. I mean, first off, video game movies, we still have yet to reach a point where they're any good.
yeah,
So I mean, it's weird marketing, but I mean, I guess you're trying to fill some seats, get people that go to Dave and Buster's to go watch your movie. I guess.
what a very specific fucking like
I know
demographic
it's
they're
weird.
trying to go after.
It's I guess they're going after like, I guess you want to call them casual gamers because it's technically an
Cashies.
arcade. You can
Yeah.
play some Fruit Ninja next to the Tomb Raider game. But I mean, it's a weird marketing strategy. But no, I mean, it's not gonna like this isn't gonna take off. I mean, it's like unfortunately, like I wish like
I do too. I wish that would come back. That's why I wanted to talk about it, because like I want it to be a thing.
I wish it was a thing.
I
Like,
wish
know.
legitimate arcades would come back to life. I miss those days. Like that was the best part about going to the beach when I was a kid, going to the shore, playing on the boardwalk.
That's all I would do when I'd go to the beach.
Yeah, man,
I'd go to the
like, that's-
arcade.
Go to the arcade.
I
Yeah,
would.
dude. Like every time I go to Wildwood as a kid, I'd be at the arcade on the boardwalk. But I mean, unfortunately,
Wildwood?
yeah, it's in Jersey.
That's cool. Sounds like really dope.
It's like Westworld.
It's pretty
Yeah,
dirty.
It's just all arcade.
Yeah,
fucking
it's pretty
cabinets.
dirty, but it's all
It's
right.
like Philly.
Nah, it's got a beach, so it's not like Philly.
Perfect.
It's
It's
like
a
a
little
dirty Philly with a beach.
It's a beach Philly.
Um,
Stupid.
I mean, a lot of people go vacation there. So anyway, but yeah, no, this ain't gonna Move on. This ain't gonna work.
enough.
It's a dumb, it's a dumb arcade Dave and Buster's game.
It does look dumb.
It does. Well, they didn't show gameplay. That's how dumb it is.
Yeah, I don't know. I wish that arcades would come back. I think
we're just gonna have to come to terms that
Me
it's
too.
not.
I think in the next quarter of
Make
this
us
year,
just
we
like,
should
no.
just fucking go to Japan and go to those arcades and get that over.
I'd be fine. I mean, the internet
God, I would
replaced the arcade, but yeah, I'd love to go.
And I bet
Japan.
you they do have a term paper simulator in an arcade system in
I wouldn't doubt it.
fucking all over the place. Okay, so the last thing I want to talk about is KH3, as they say on the streets, or what we call it here is Kingdom Hearts 3.
The game that will never be released.
Correct. It's basically... Okay, so they've confirmed another world from that game. And the whole point of that
Monsters,
fucking game...
Inc.
Right. The whole point of that game is
Whoa.
to go to these different
Yay.
planets or worlds, whatever you want to call them, that
Kingdoms.
are they kingdoms? Sure, there you
Disney
go.
Kingdoms.
Yeah, that are from the Disney films themselves.
Yes.
We have 8 confirmed worlds that they've revealed so far.
Yep.
Why? Or do they keep? I wanted to bring this up, like saying, okay, great, they revealed another world. They revealed the new theme song by Utada Hikaru, which is called "Don't Think Twice." They're revealing all this shit for a game that we've been like, just push and pulled for what, 8 years now at this point?
Something like that.
Yeah. No, 10 years. It was back in like 2007 that this I remember seeing the goddamn Kingdom Hearts 3
Yeah,
thing.
Kingdom Hearts 2 came out. Yeah, that's right.
So
Don't worry, they're at like Kingdom Hearts 2.9.3 point.
That
yeah,
slash.
like the second power.
Yeah,
Dude, Kingdom Hearts,
so stupid.
like the story makes it didn't make sense to begin with, but now it's like completely gone
yeah.
off the rails.
Yeah.
All the spin-offs don't make any goddamn sense anymore. I don't know what's a nobody and a heartless and a fucking shell. None of it makes any goddamn sense. That being said, I'm going to get this game when it comes out because the games are so much fun. I'm sorry. Like, this is my guilty pleasure game franchise. It's so much fun.
Right, but here's the thing, though.
Can't
like,
help it.
you're getting spoiled all this shit. Now, what I want to bring up about Kingdom Hearts 3 is not the fact that Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to be good or how much anticipation is built up behind it or whether we want to go and play it right now, which is all yes. I don't know. Are you a fan?
I hate Kingdom
Okay.
Hearts.
So 2 yeses, 1 no. That's fine.
He doesn't
The
enjoy
yeas
happiness.
have it. Right.
Yeah, no. Get that trash out of here.
But the reason I'm bringing it up, though,
fun.
is because we live now in an age of information, like the technological age where we get like information immediately as soon as something is revealed or anything is rumored, we like have it right on our phones.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Right. Yeah. Oh, now I do. so that's my point is like in this age of the internet, there's no anticipation to build anymore. It seems like there's no surprise. I mean, like I could fucking tell you right now 8 of the worlds that are in that game, which is all about exploring worlds. And before what's it called? Not Superman. Yeah, before Superman 64 came out, I could have told you that it sucked.
Superman Odyssey.
No,
That's a good game.
Super Mario Odyssey. Like we got like a whole, we were talking about like we don't want to look anymore because it's just so much things that they were giving us.
Yeah.
Now, of course, that game was fucking huge, so it didn't spoil everything. But like it did show off a lot. Now, and I want to kind of talk about like inherently, is that a bad thing for gamers? Like I thought half the fun was like waiting for the release and popping that shit in and then hearing the theme song and going, oh my god, this is gonna blow my mind, and not knowing a goddamn thing about it. Besides like maybe the 1 or 2 articles you read in Game Informer or whatnot,
Well, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, we live in a world where, like you said, since everything is so readily available, it's super competitive to market your game. I mean, in the business now, the video game industry isn't as small as it used to be. Like, it's huge. There's not millions. There's tons of developers and publishers.
There's millions of
developers. But like, there's always new games coming out, and like you always hear about new ones. So like, they've got to try and keep you like enticed in their franchise or their title. But I mean, at the same time, video games, as much as they release, unlike movies and stuff, they have more to hide than a movie does. A movie, you got your 2 hours. That's it. There's nothing else to it. But a video game, there's tons of it. There's secret worlds that you could discover. There's secrets in the game that you don't know about. I mean, yeah, you can get a lot of gameplay and you can watch like different maps or worlds or whatever the game is, like the different locations you play in. But there's a lot more to hide. Like take a game like Witcher. There's no way you could spoil that game in one trailer. There's so much to do in it.
True, and I wish that's actually a great point. I wish I had looked up and researched like what the marketing campaign leading up to The Witcher 3 was like, and how much they were revealing before it. I mean, I could tell you probably not a lot considering CD Projekt Red's current,
right,
talking about Cyberpunk 2077. Now the thing is, that's how I feel like it should be. And there are a lot of developers that do it that way. I know From Software is somewhat of the same ilk. They don't like to show a whole bunch of shit before the new games drop.
Mm-hmm.
Case in point, the 15-second teaser we got from E3 last year, which was just the winding of this weird
Could be
bloody rope.
Bloodborne too. Yeah.
Exactly. Like that's something that is becoming increasingly more sparse. That just having curiosity in a game. I fucking there's been multiple times now where like there's a game, and not only because we do the show and we do research on what we're talking about, but even just the grapevine, like you already know like like the end game sometimes, like there's just too much revealed in these games. Like yes, it happens a lot with films where you watch a trailer and you already know the entire story.
Oh, that's just every movie trailer now. It's awful.
Right, of course, and that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah,
but but now it's starting to infect the video game world too. And I think it's because like we as a generation have become inherently less patient. We just become more and more impatient, and we just want to know everything we can. That's why fucking videos on YouTube of like the first 15 minutes of this game are like getting millions of views, because no one wants to.
Well, that might be another
take a
reason.
chance anymore.
Like we talked about last week, that might be a reason why there's now you can play games in the alpha. There's so much early access
right,
now.
exactly.
There's so much available.
Check out the bonus video. It's coming out tomorrow. For everyone who's not paying, if you're a patron, you've already seen that shit. Thank you. But
Yeah.
no, but yes, exactly. That's the fucking perfect case in point there. It's like now, why?
Because we want everything now. We want to know everything now. It's just kind of the world that we now live in. It's just like we're in the age of information, where we just want all the information now, even if it just starts to spoil things for us. But I think it's one of those things where it's like there's a lot of information out there, but you can choose not to look at it if you want. It's like, with Mario Odyssey and Zelda and those games, I was like, okay, I saw a little bit.
Even
it looks
Zelda,
great.
Zelda was they did a great ad campaign for that.
Yeah, well, that's like
anything.
There's a couple companies that are really good about it.
Yeah.
Nintendo's one. Like they're so secretive. Like they don't even
with the exception of Super Mario Odyssey.
Well, no, because
they maybe showed 10%, but at the time we didn't know it was showing 10% of that game. They showed a decent amount, but there was so many secrets and things to explore. It's like
That's what I'm saying. Like games have so much more to hide.
Sure.
It's like with Zelda, with Breath of the Wild, they had full gameplay trailers of like the entire what's the opening area called?
Great Plateau.
So they basically showed the entire Great Plateau, and everybody's like, "Is this what this game is?" Mm-hmm. And then the game comes out, you're like, "Oh no, not even close!" The map zooms out, you're like, there's so much to do in this game. Great Plateau is nothing. Yeah. And I feel like they were kind of like that with Mario Odyssey too. It's like, yeah, they showed the desert world and a couple other things, but it's like they didn't give away what happens towards like the end of like New Donk City what you kind of get after you beat that game. I mean, there's so many like cool little interesting worlds and secrets and all these things in those games. And so Nintendo, I think, has always been really good about that stuff. Rockstar's been really good, but Bethesda's been really good.
Yeah, Rockstar's are great. Yeah, they're a good example.
I mean, Red Dead 2 hasn't given away anything.
Yeah.
They have that trailer, and you're just like, I don't know what's happening, but it looks cool.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it looks beautiful.
It's just that there are some of these places, maybe it's just games that are taking no, it's not what games are taking a long time to develop, because, like, again, CD Projekt Red's good about it. Red Dead's good about it, or what are they
Rockstar.
called? Yep. Arcane Studios. Oh, I got it this time. I was lying about it.
Asylum Studios.
Yeah, I was gonna make a joke, but you can't make a joke when you got it correct. And I understand that this topic is a little antithetical to the show. Like, I get that, because we do reveal news on like what's going on in the video game industry, but I feel like this show is more speculative in nature than it is in like actually informative in certain aspects.
Yeah.
And so, I would much prefer talking about like, oh shit, remember that Kingdom Hearts situation back 10 years ago, and that trailer was dope, and now we're getting like it's going to be confirmed to release soon, and we get to talk about it, as opposed to like, hey man, I can tell you all the characters in the fucking game.
Well, that's the problem with Kingdom Hearts. It's been a shit show. Like, after the second one came out, and they're like, 3 is coming, and they've said that every year because they've released a different game like almost every year. I mean, and all their spin-offs, like end credits or whatever, there's something involving Kingdom Hearts 3. Like, either if it's at the end of the credits or the end of the game, there's something about Kingdom Hearts 3. So you're like, all right, more. When's it coming? Like,
Yeah.
but it's never gonna come. That's the problem. But we're getting so much information, so but it's this crazy buildup with such a lackluster, like, they don't care about like telling us when it's gonna come out. It just seems, it's really weird. It's bizarre, but I mean, I guess they're doing it to keep people interested because there's a rabid fan base for it.
Yeah, I mean that's there's a lot of rabbits there.
I was
There
gonna
are.
make the joke. You got it. I was like,
I got you. But it's not like, I'm not gonna say I know what's going on behind closed doors with like Square Enix and that. Just
I wish you could say that. That'd be
I-
amazing.
yeah.
I'll tell you what's happening with closed doors.
yeah, I mean, but it's
Can
one
I
of those
sweat shut?
things.
Case in point.
It's one of those things that stockholders and the money guys at the top and women
Right,
they
2018?
they're like, what's going on with this, what's going on with this, what's going on with this, and it's like you have to release information so that you can get people excited again, so you can tell your stockholders, hey, people still want this game. For the love of God, don't pull the plug. So it's
gonna
like,
be
sometimes
great,
you gotta
trust me.
you gotta do
God
this.
damn, sometimes less is more. Like
I agree.
If
But it
you
just-
know what I would have preferred if they like brought that trailer back from 2007 or whatever. They brought that trailer back for Kingdom Hearts 3 when they first announced it, like with everyone like walking in like these like awesome like suits of armor, like they look like knights. Bring that shit back and then like have it like halfway like kind of morph into like a new trailer that like now of what they're working on now and be like, oh shit, it's like, remember when we fucked with your mind then?
Yeah.
Now it's happening again. We were like, fuck, instead of like
Yeah.
instead of showing all this fucking Toy Story, Monsters Inc., fucking Pixar ass looking
mean,
bullshit.
but
Like it
it's-
looks
yeah.
great. I'm excited, but fuck, I don't want to know any more about it. You can't get away from it.
I mean,
Just gotta try.
The thing about Kingdom Hearts, though, I mean, you'll get spoiled about like gameplay and like where you fight and stuff, but you can't get spoiled on that story. None of it makes any
The
goddamn
game can't even
sense.
spoil it for you. Like you're still like, what?
Yeah, the game don't make any goddamn sense, but it looks cool.
Yeah.
But I like to think if your game is, especially like what I would hope is like a big open-ish kind of world with something like Kingdom Hearts 3, you would
It's
hope
not.
that,
It's not gonna be openish.
well, it's like, you have these different kingdoms.
Well, the worlds are
It's-
kind of open.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like, it's something where it's like you have these kingdoms and there's just a lot to explore within each of those kingdoms. You would hope that the world is fleshed out enough that it's there. Yeah, it's going to be Monsters Inc., but then you get in there, it's like, oh, it's that character, and oh, this like you jump through one of the doors and all of a sudden you're in the real world, within Monsters Inc. kind of thing. That's all I remember from that movie. But it's
Apparently. It's
I'm
okay.
not a Disney guy, but it's just those little tidbits. It's like those. It's just like with Odyssey. It's like, yeah, they showed a little bit, but then you get into those worlds and then you start seeing these little secrets and stuff. It's like, oh man, that's super cool. It's like, hopefully, if they're making their game right, hopefully that's the case where they could show every kingdom, but there's still so much in there for you to discover that's still like, yay, this is the thing I wanted.
That's exactly what I say when I pop a new game in. I'm like, yay, this is what I wanted. Well, I hope so. I really do. I don't want to see any more, but chances are we're going to keep getting a lot more
10
reveals
more
and
years.
stuff. Yeah. Another 10 years of reveals. It's like we don't need to play
There's
the
gonna
game
be
anymore.
like-
I've seen it.
There's gonna be like 40 new Star Wars movies before Kingdom Hearts 3 comes
Actually,
out.
that's probably true. And that's only like within the next 3 years.
Yeah.
So,
There's so many Star Wars movies coming. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah, there are. Don't
Yeah.
remind me. But like, there's these fucking Kingdom Hearts games, man. They've released games on like almost every system, like PlayStation, Game Boy Advance, 3DS, PSP, PS2,
Walkie.
I mean, there's so many, and it's like at some point it's gonna be like, God, I don't even know what's happening anymore.
Yeah, it's hard. It's one of those games that like it's a fucking nuisance to try to figure out the story because you have to buy all these different consoles, and then, like not only do they change the console, but they change the gameplay mechanics. I remember getting like a chained memories or whatever for the
Chain
Game
of
Boy,
Memories,
chain of
yeah.
memories for the Game Boy Advance, and I was like excited
That was
to play.
the first spin-off.
Fuck that game.
like
You
that game.
No, did you boot it up and you coming off hot off the tails of like Kingdom Hearts?
It's like
or
a
Kingdom
card
Hearts
game.
2?
That's why you have like a deck.
That's what I'm saying. Fuck that, because I was over
Oh.
here like swinging my
I thought it was
keyblade.
interesting.
All right, you know what?
They also
You're
had
wrong,
like
so.
they had like an HD collection of like all the games except for like what, 1 or 2 of them,
They have a
and then
few
they had
HD
like
collections that
another
have all-
collection. It was
Yeah.
like, what are you talking? Why didn't you just put them in one collection?
Yeah.
It's so stupid.
I have one of those collections.
I might borrow it from you, actually.
Oh, I downloaded it digitally.
Okay.
It was only like $15. That's why I got it.
Oh, dope.
Yeah.
Well, there you go, guys. I think that's pretty much the show. I think we've come to the consensus that no matter what happens in the near future with Kingdom Hearts 3, that
Simple
there
and
definitely
clean
needs
will
to
always be the best song, though.
Yes, that
That
and
game
that
is-
there needs to be a Tomb
it's-
Raider game too. So,
Yep.
Coming to terms.
coming to terms.
Stop.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate you all watching. We love your eyes and ears on this situation, and we make it just for you from the
Situation.
heart. Yeah, that's right. So you can follow us and all of our interesting stuff happening behind the scenes in Multiplayered here on our Twitter and Instagram page at GoMultiplayered. You can also follow us on our personal pages, mine specifically being on Instagram at Guillermo_Dorado and at Twitter at Mastorado. And for you,
I'm at Term Raider.
you should change it.
Check me out in the
might do
Webster
that.
Dictionary. No, I'm at Zach Matzganis, ZACKMATZGANIS.
Music to my ears, and then
I'm at Multiplayered Hive on Twitter, so forget about it.
Oh,
oh,
I'm at Gabagoo.
I'm at the Gabagoo. You can find me down at Tony's.
yeah, fucking with the Philly cheesesteak in my hands.
Is this offensive? I don't want to be offensive.
No, you're from the East Coast.
No, I meant...
And I'm part Italian. I'm half
Okay.
Italian, so it's okay.
So it's all good.
I bless the jokes.
Because you're from, like, the Pope.
Yeah, exactly. From the Papa. Hey,
You
the
wanna
big Papa.
You want to
Big
follow
Papa.
me? I'll follow you.
Done. Hey, you follow for multiplayer.
Follow for follow.
You can also follow Nathan Redfern, or as we like to call him here, Nath Redfield, at Oh, no.
Whoa.
Follow Nathan at Mick to the Wood.
At Multiplayer Nath on Instagram.
Man, you're bad at this.
Shit, on Twitter. Wow. Well,
Wow.
maybe they should be on the show more often. I get their names correct. You know, that's all I'm saying. I got you guys down fucking pat.
For that.
And you can also follow here Mick, our resident Xbox gamer, at Mick to the Wood on Instagram and Twitter. And we like to give a special thank you to not only our patrons, but also to DJ CUTMAN for his special, amazing, dope-ass,
Gabagoo.
fucking Gabagoo 8-bit shit tune.
That's a good guy over there.
Yeah, he's a
DJ
good guy.
Cupman.
Yeah.
Good fella.
He intros and outros our shows, and we dig it every time.
We love
I'm
him.
sure you guys do too. So, thank you guys so much. We will be back next week with more information for your cabezas.
Nice.
So keep on grinding. We'll see you at the respawn.
Oh.
Forget about it. We love you.
Oh.
Camarella. These guys over here.
Oh.
We'd like to give a big ol' special thank you to Jaden Lawrence, Arturo Madeira, and Murcha Dan Krolpatariu. If you want to receive shoutouts like these awesome, beautiful people, be sure to check out our Patreon at patreon.com/multiplayered. See you next time, players.